Anygma founded, runs, and developed FlipTop over the last 16 years into the biggest and most viewed rap battle league in the world. Through a video presentation, he will attempt to encapsulate FlipTop's extensive influence and impact on the overall Filipino hip-hop culture, its alternative use and appreciation of the Filipino language, and how it has elevated modern battle rap from a niche art form to a global phenomenon. Alaric Anygma Yuson is the founder and CEO of the world-famous and most viewed FlipTop Battle League, as well as the independent hip-hop label Uprising Records Philippines. And about FlipTop, it is the premier Filipino rap battle league and has been popularly credited for the resurgence, prevalence, and domination of local hip-hop as a culture and genre. Founded in 2010, FlipTop has elevated an often misunderstood niche art form into an unparalleled nationwide cultural phenomenon. Uprising Records Philippines is a grassroots hip-hop label that has managed to support over 30 of the scene's most known and unique hip-hop artists from all over Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao through a self-produced events, tours, album launches, as well as dominating in the hyper-competitive world of modern battle rap. Uprising has earned its reputation of doing without trends and hype by mostly relying on the sheer quality and vision of its output with over 30 albums released under its belt. May I say this in English first na Frankfurt makes some noise, but with more feeling in Filipino. Frankfurt mag-ingay para kay Anygma.
Yeah, hello. Good afternoon. Magandang hapon. Guten Tag. Did I say that right? What's up? Kamusta? Was geht ab? Is that right? Still right? We good? Ayos lang. And alles fit. Yeah? Okay, so that's as far as my German goes. Yeah, so I'm Alaric Anygma Yuson. I'm known more as Anygma back home. I'm not exactly sure what I'm doing here, why I was invited. And to be honest, I don't really know what you guys are doing here either, to have to listen to my presentation. And I guess before I start, I'd like to apologize in advance to everyone else, as it might get a bit loud later on when I show a bit of the video. And I'd like to apologize especially to Sir Ian Kasokot at the stage right across, because if I might be a bit too noisy or a bit too vulgar later on. So yeah, there might be a lot of vulgar stuff in the presentation later on. So if you're a bit too sensitive, you might want to leave. Yeah, battle rap is if you might be a bit familiar, there's a lot of vulgarity, but it's not all about that. But definitely, it's a lot of no holds barred lyricism and you know, like, so if you're any form of ism, any feminism, then I don't know, it might not be your kind of thing, no. So yeah, again, I'm known as Anygma back home, and then I've been rapping since 2003. I was probably around, my math is bad, but I was probably around 14 years old. Took it more and more seriously as the years went by, and eventually I started as a participant and overall fan or hip hop head, and being a fan of all modern advancements in the world of hip hop. I started what's considered modern battle rap in the Philippines, from as inspired by our counterparts in the US, in Canada, in the UK, and Australia. See, I don't think he liked my answer, so. um, and I also run the independent hip hop label back home called Uprising Records Philippines. So I organize, I host, and sometimes I'm also the therapist for most of the artists. I do HR for that. Basically, whatever the hell I have to do for all the artists involved. So yeah, and I'm familiar with. I'm really surprised to even be invited here at the Frankfurt Book Messe. I'm well aware that it's mostly about books and writing and I guess all different kinds of art. So I'm sure there's a traditional arts, applied arts, fine arts, and I believe I'm the sole representative of what I call the crude arts. as most of our content could be considered as crude. So maybe a brief history on battle rap and its origins and its evolution. So who here might be familiar with battle rap in general? Any hands? Yeah. Um, anyone familiar with the movie 8 Mile by Eminem? So yeah, basically what Eminem does there in 8 Mile is considered the old school format or the freestyle format. So they still have a beat. You're you don't know your opponent until you get to the stage, and you have to freestyle or basically improvise or rap extemporaneously on stage and along to the beat. Um, Eventually, battle rap has evolved, and they've done without the beat in modern times. So now battle rap is a cappella, and nowadays you know of your opponent 4 to 6 weeks in advance. So you really prepare for him. You prepare your material to tailor fit it against him. So you can kind of consider it as a verbal MMA. The reason for this is because I think over the years, freestyle battle rap kind of reached its limits because there's only so much you can say and do extemporaneously. So, and at the same time, a lot of MCs or battle rappers, they kind of get away with just riding what's called riding the beat. So you can be good at riding the beat, following the flow, but you might not be saying so much. So eventually, I guess the hip hop fans and enthusiasts wanted more, and they basically got rid of the beat, so you don't have the beat to rely on anymore, and it's purely focused on your prepared material, prepared content, and yeah, freestyles still make its way into the rounds, usually at the beginning of the next round. So if your opponent has a really good line against you, and if you're able to think of something on the fly or yeah, on the spot, you can use it and hopefully be able to like flip what he last said or usually his best line. So you can kind of bury it, and with your own freestyle, it usually lasts around 2 lines. But some better freestylers can go for as many as 8 lines. If you're really good, you can keep going on and on. Of course, you run the risk of transitioning back into your written material. So it happens that when you freestyle and then you suddenly forget the opening word or the opening line of your written material, that's when you can kind of fuck up on stage. But if you're really, really good, you can also start with your written material and then incorporate a freestyle line mid-round. So that really requires a lot of focus and skill to be able to transition into freestyle at any point and then to go back into your written material. So I thought I'd have a podium here for my laptop so I could read my notes. I just transferred it on my phone. But yeah, basically for everyone else who might not be familiar with hip hop, it's a culture and musical genre that originated in the inner cities of New York in the late 70s. A lot of it really started as a alternative to formal musical training and formal musical events. So obviously, obviously African American in origin, and yeah, they would it started by organizing parties or known as block parties, wherein they would I guess the guy who can afford a turntable or any form of sound system, they would tap into the lamp post, and in the Philippines it's called jumper, diba? Like where you steal electricity off the lamp post, and they would organize block parties, and for the most part it was really just partying, and eventually it evolved into the sound system owner guy could manipulate the sounds from his turntable, and that eventually became known as scratching or DJing or turntablism. And from that, when he would select a certain break beat within a song. So any old song, let's say a 70s soul song, and then there's a break beat somewhere in the song, he would pick out those 4 bars and then keep looping it on 2 turntables. So if he has the same vinyl of that specific song, he'll loop it this way and he'll loop it that way until he starts creating a beat, which is I guess what you guys know as the basic instrumental of rap and hip hop with a 4/4 count. And eventually they had what they call the party rocker or the MC or the master of ceremonies, whose job really was just to keep the party going, keep everyone happy, keep them enjoying. So like of course if he notices like a few party goers sitting down, then he would be the one to grab the mic and be like, hey, come back here, let's all have fun, put your hands up in the air, blah, blah, blah. And eventually, as the party goer or the master of ceremonies, yeah, he would, to add style and flair to whatever it is he wanted to say, he eventually started rhyming. So from the rhyme, it's really sometimes call to action to either come back to the dance floor or to throw your hands up in the air or to dance this way, dance that way, whatever. And then eventually it came to a point where the master of ceremonies, and there were several of them, they would want to outdo each other by coming up with better and more clever lines in how to introduce themselves, how to introduce the party. And that is basically what kind of evolved into rapping. So from an introduction of 2 to 4 lines, it would evolve into 8 lines, still over the break beat. And then eventually, when maybe one master of ceremony was getting a bit more famous in his area or in his hood, then a rival master of ceremonies wouldn't appreciate that, and he would want to test himself against that master of ceremony. And eventually, yeah, they would find each other at a single party, and they would take turns, and that basically would be the origins of battle rap, would be the first samples of battle rap. Later, there'll be a sample on the video, and they would try to outdo each other in emceeing, in master of ceremonies, and little by little, it would start to turn a bit more competitive. So they would start insulting the opposing MC. I believe there might be similar. There's probably a lot of similar verbal one-upmanships all throughout history. I think the English have a version called flighting. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with that, where, yeah, they also like insult like the baker, like your bread sucks or something like that. So, and of course in the Philippines we have what's called balagtasan, still a verbal one-upmanship, but as I've been trying to argue for the longest time, has no connection to battle rap. But back home, a lot of people mistakenly call what we do in FlipTop or modern battle rap, they mistakenly call it as a modern balagtasan. But again, I'd like to point out that there's no need to confuse the art forms, and to do so would be a disservice to each art form, because obviously obviously the African Americans in inner city New York did not research the Philippines and be like, hey, I like what they're doing, maybe I should try that, and eventually lead to battle rap. No, so those are the earlier years, and then eventually it evolved into rap music, storytelling, basically, yeah, an alternative form of expression for everyone who couldn't afford formal musical lessons, who couldn't afford the formal musical events. It involves a lot of, even on your lunch break or during school time, it would involve a lot of banging on the tables to create a beat, a 4/4 count, and then one guy rapping, and then everyone taking their turn and trying to one-up each other with better and better lyrics. There's a written aspect to it, and then there's the freestyle aspect to it, of which are both separate skill sets. And eventually it kept on evolving until it became what you guys might have seen on 8 Mile by Eminem. So the freestyle era, that's been going on for the longest time. And back to my earlier mention of modern battle rap and how it evolved into now what we have is a cappella. You don't hold the microphone anymore, and depending on your production design, in our case, we have a guy who holds a boom mic the entire night. So he's holding a shotgun microphone or a boom mic above the MCs, and if the MCs are moving all around the stage, he has to run after them. So this allows you to have more concentrated content and material that's tailor fit for your opponent. And I guess the easiest way to give you guys an example would just be to show you a sample of one of our most viewed battles in FlipTop. And I guess additional context, FlipTop has since become the most viewed battle rap league in the world, as evidenced by the statistics of YouTube and similar streaming platforms. We were lucky enough to overtake our American counterparts as early as 2011. I never would have thought, just a young Filipino boy in a third world country doing borrowed art forms from the States, and to eventually outdo them in terms of viewership. No, I'm not. I would not pretend at all to be any better than them when it comes to content and writing ability and performance ability. So our viewership is centralized on our YouTube channel, and that's by design, simply because I figured if I had to present to potential sponsors, it's easier to just show like one channel instead of saying like, oh, this is my YouTube, this is my Instagram, this is my whatever other social media channel. So it's centralized mostly on YouTube, and our channel has 8 million subscribers and over 2 billion views since 2010. So I've been doing this for 16 years now. Honestly, pretty tired. I don't know how long I can keep going, but somehow I end up in places like this, so I guess I have to keep going. And yeah, maybe let's just go with the sample, sir, if you can start the video. So this is our most viewed battle in 2012. It was for within the league format, which is an entirely different thing altogether. The league format is really wherein you organize the roster, the tournaments, the events, and such. So we have a one-on-one tournament. This video I'm about to show is from the two-on-two tournament. So eventually, you know, battle rap evolved wherein you can now pair off and oppose two other MCs. And this is our most viewed video, but we also suffer a lot to piracy. We lose a lot of viewership to piracy. So this video is at 54 million views. I am pretty sure the actual view count, if you were to include piracy, and by piracy I mean VCDs, DVDs, everyone downloading it to their phones, and you know, basically stealing our stuff. So yeah, maybe let's just show this. It's a two-on-two battle in Tagalog. I guess most of the Germans won't understand, but you'll get a feel of how raw, how yeah.
It's your host, Anygma. We got a battle for the Filipino conference.
FlipTop, magingay para sa parating na laban.
Okay, mga putang inan to. Una na lahat, mananawagan muna ako sa lahat ng tropa kong hold upper dyan. Tandaan nyo yung mukhang to. Mayaman to, hold upin nyo, walang palagyan. Guwapo lang yan, walang bayag yan.
Yo! Anong akala mo? Pag nagsuot ng ganyan ng rapper, nakakamangha? Gago, mukha kang bossing sa call center na bakla! Hoy! Anong akala mo? Ha? Yung ganyang suot bagay sa mukha mo? Nagsuot ka lang ng ganyan para magmukha kang mayaman para dumami yung matsupa mo! Bago ang lahat, lilinawin lang namin. Baka 6 minutes yung round nyo, ha?
Ang ina nyo, pag 6 minutes.
This sample runs for 12 minutes, so guys, just sit back and relax.
Okay, oh, gera na. Okay, oh, putang ina mo, Abra, sumuko ka na. Napapaligiran ka na ng mga tite.
Team LA, ang self-proclaimed hari ng tugma at isang nagmumulti na bakla, bibigandang hari ng tugma.
Congrats, tol. Lupit naman ang katandem mo. Kano na lang pera mo?
Isang mayaman na gustong sumikat.
Sikat na gustong yumaman. Give and take.
Yo! Alam niyo ba kung paano sila maggamitan sa likod ng camera?
Paano?
Ganito, si Abra nahuli ni Lon, ninatamad magsulat.
Ay, putang ina mo, Abra Chupa, sumulat ka naman.
Saba.
Hoy, Abra Chupa, putang ina mo, sumulat ka naman.
Sulat mo na lang, ako idol, babayaran kita.
Ay, gago, nung si Abra naman, nakita si Lonnie, tinutusan bumili sa labas.
Idol, bilhin mo naman ako ng foundation, yung kulay puti.
Okay lang, Abra. Sige ba, basta sa akin, sukle.
Huwag kang masyadong maligaya dyan, Dudong. Ganyan lang talaga ang mayayaman, hindi kayang sumulong ng walang pisayang katulong.
Kaya mo kang manalo matalo, Lonnie. Yung pamilya mo sa Cebu, mababalatuhan mo. Halata naman na mas malaki ba yung bayad neto sa pagtatandem nyo kaysa sa mapapanalunan nyo.
Kaya huwag kang umasta na yung 150,000, matagal mo ng hangad.
Huwag kang magtago sa likod ng salitang praktikal, Lonnie. Tang ina mo, matagal ka ng bayad.
Hoy, Abra! Naging kampi mo lang si Loning, yabang mo na.
Tang ina mo.
Dati Dati pag di ako nag-reply, nagtatampo ka. Dati ako laging gusto mong kasabay sa kotse mo noon. Bakit? Si Lonnie na ba tagapagtanggol mo sa traffic enforcer ngayon? Yo, congrats kay Abra. Ang pangarap na makaklose ang idol ay naabot niya. Pero deep inside, alam kong sa akin inggit ka. Dahil ang chance na matalo siya sa akin napunta. Palibasa, nasa ilalim ka pa rin ng saya ng ina mo at ang kanyang koko-corning rap. Bro, you suck. You're go-growing old, but you're not go-growing up. Yo, huwag na natin gawing komplikado. Ang aking pagkatalo sa iyo dati ay regalo ko lang sa isang kaibigan desperado. Kung usapang kanta, wag ako gago. Dahil yung kanta mo pang aerobics.
Kaya pala yung kanta mo, hindi nakakawalang gana kasi tulog pa na pang exercise sa umaga.
Hindi rin gagana. Yo. Hindi rin gagana ang gayuma mo kay Maria Clara. Dahil ang gayuma mo ay para kay Crisostomo Ibarra.
Teka lang, tol. Yan pa si Abra yung nagmamahi ka?
Oo.
Yung may kakayahang baguhin yung kulay ng tae niya?
Aha.
Hoy, tol! Utangin na mo, baguhin mo naman yung kulay ng tae ko, tol. Please, birthday lang ng pinsan ko. Baka pwede.
Skagos bag. Hindi ka papansinin yan kasi suplado yan. Magaling daw siya mag-multi. Diba? Ibang level ang mga multi na to.
Kwento mo sa pagong. Pati mo na lang gawin. Basta sinasabi mo pa. Magaranggo ka lang sa larangan ng multi sa ngalan ni Lunes si Bruce Lee. Sinasali mo pa.
Bruce Lee ng multi?
Pwes ako si Bakit the Grappler ng rap. Mapamaito na mabagal, mabilis, malalim sa battle o kanta. Alam kong dalalapit sa mga tulad mo ang mentality na to. Di matutuldo ka ng mga multi mo ang pagiging multitasker ko na rapper dahil multi-talented ako.
Kaya sa'yo,
Mas mahusay ako. Di niyo ako kahilerang tatlo. Ibang kulay ako at ang mismong patunay ito.
Douglas!
Galing pa sa tundo. Ang pinakamalakas na sampal sa iyong dila at ang rapper dito galing sa tamod mo.
hindi kami nangingilapot sa mga multi nyo.
Kung walang kapararakang tugma, for the sake of multis, nakasacrifice yung clarity ng thought ng mga linya para lang ikamangha.
Baka ma-first ka pa sa pwersa na ala fiesta sa Baguio.
Ha? Ang ina mo, merong balong puwersa ng piyesta? Gago ka ba?
Leche ka!
Parehas lang kayong mga upgraded na basta rhyme, mga basta nag-rhyme ng multi, pwede na!
At kami,
Makatang,
di ka uri ng masa.
di nagsusulot ng basta ng multi na bara!
Kami ang naghanyong taong rason kung bakit nagraray ang Luni Abra sa funeraria. Kaya kapag ang SS ng Super Saiyan pa,
Matakot ka na, tol!
dahil dadalhin na namin ng dalawang swapang naka-ubi na to sa LA.
Loob na nga taon!
That's just one round. Let me know if you guys are getting bored or offended. We can move it along. But if you guys want to see their second round as well.
Yo! Yo! Sabi na nga ba magkakampi yung bading at bakla? Nung sinabi ko lahat ng rapper galing sa tamod ko, nagkamali ako. Kasi yung magagaling lang pala. At tangina, tinitira mo yung Amerikana ng mga gago. Palibasa, makakapagsuot lang kayo nito pag sa laundry kayo nagtrabaho. Sa wakas, makakaranas na sila smugglers ng malalakas na hagupit. Mga nakakaharap kasi namin ni Abra kadalasan malupit. Ito mabenta lang to sa mga isip bata, palibasa, makulit. Sa sobrang laki ng ilong niya, parang kalabasang maliit. Mas nakakatawa pa siguro yan, lalo na kung may lunal pa. Sumali ng Mr. Pang ito dati kaso na disqualified kasi professional na. Ang yayabang nyo na agad, wala namang bilang yung mga natalo nyo. Paano nyo sasabihin kayo yung karapat dapat walang kahirap-hirap yung mga panalo nyo? Yung una namin na kalaban, sarili po nilang hometown. Pangalawa namin na kalaban,
Comedy!
Sino? Sila Soulja Boy at Chris Brown? Pangalawa namin na kalaban,
Novelty!
Crazy Mix at si Basilio. Yung mga pangalawa nyo na kalaban, sino?
OMG!
Mga sidekick lang ni Miko, sa'yo pa nang galing mismo.
Akala mo hindi namin mabibisto yung mga gimmick ng skitso? Sabay-sabay mag-practice, nag-iimbento ng mga info? Pinagtutulungan kami na mailibing na sa nicho para sa finals, hati-hati na lang, tigli 50,000. King ina nyo, si Chief nyo! Kahit mag-team SSS pa kayo, schizophrenia, smugglers at sidekick, madudurog lang kayo sa panagtasan at mind tricks ng mga maangas na sidekick na masasapa sa kataan na pinakamatalas na ice pick. Go! Sobrang bobo ni Smugglers. Akala niya, nagtatang twist siya, pero hindi niya alam ang spelling ng tang. Sige nga, ano spelling ng tang? Tang ina mo, hindi mo alam. Tinabak-tabakan ko na to dati, ikaw, sasabatusin na lang. Yung lintek na malatek na ng mga technique ni Smugglers ay peke, parang duplika lang. Kinokopy yung saktong flow ni Tech 9, tas tatagalugin niya lang.
Dinadaan mo lang sa bilis para ka snatcher dun sa rekto. Puro ingay na walang laman, parang lata sa tumbang preso. Hoy, 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 pukay ng ina mo, ubod ka ng fake. Puro puta pete yung bumubuta sa page. Mamatay ka sana sa pangunguto sa AIDS. Magpataya ka na lang ng ending, kaya ka lang naman nag-trending kasi nahulog ka sa stage.
Balita ko, sikat daw yung asawa mo. Tangina, pinong-pino pa yung kutis.
Lumalabas sa FHM.
Sa FHM?
Sa Filipino horror movies.
Ina. Tapos, in love ka sa kanya, pero bakit mo siya pinaglololo ka? Sabi mo nagpa-practice lang kayo ni Shehi, pinagmumukhang bobo mo pa. Di ba dun sa rest house? Sa pinto ng rest house sa Bataan, nakasalubong pa kita? Di ba dun sa pinto ng rest house sa Bataan, nakasalubong pa kita? May kasama kang dalawang pokpok, mukha pang katulong yung isa? Kaya paano ka pagkakatiwalaan ng sandamakmak na mga napili mong kasama kung hinuhudas mo na nga pati sarili mong asawa? Two-timer na double-timer. Tatatatak, inamos, maglas, at tanga-tanga, at katawa-tawa, silong katataka. Isa ka manggagain na nakaya mandaya at tatapakan lang at tatrag makakasa ka ba? Makinig ka na mabuti para alam mo kung sino nga sa atin ang pinakamabilis. Hanggang wala ka pa sarili mo, sino at liriko, hindi mo ka pagpupupwede na impress. Lahat ng barat mo, mga nanako mo, at yan ang ginawang pang-hype. Supot lahat ng bara mo kapag binabagan to tarantado para kakaiba lang pag-live. At para mas sumikat na binata na pirata, makilala bukod pa sa nagawang pag-vibe. Alam ko magaling ka mag-freestyle, pero tangin na ka magaling ka rin pala. Yo! At hindi to speed rap contest. Kaya wa-effect yung mga mababaw na pang-inis mo. Pagkat walang binatbat yung bilis mo pag tinapat na sa bigat na matalinghagang lirisismo.
Mismo! Papatikimin namin kayo ng mala-impactong lyrics, hindi sapat ang chemistry kapag tinapat sa quantum physics. Mga kinalaban nyo, puro madali lang, parang simple na addition. Kapag kami nakaharap, imposible na mission, mas posible umuwi pa kayong dalawa na nasa critical condition na magkapatong sa isang kabaong habang naka 69 position.
At nag-apply ka daw dati sa call center, hindi na ako magtataka. Tangina, sa gwardiya pa lang, hindi na nakapasa.
Kung ako sa'yo, doon ko nalang magtrabaho sa call center ni Boss Kyle. Alam mo na kung ano posisyon mo doon? Dog style!
I just have an announcement for our German friends who are
Yeah, if we
interested
can
in
pause the
having the
video.
German real-time translation. Just raise your hand so they'll be able to understand. And if I may, just a quick translation of what was said. You know, a lot of mothers were cursed. There was a lot of body shaming and intellectual shaming. Body organs and bodily fluids, gay jokes and homoerotic tension, and racial slurs, and also really impressive historical and literary reference. Did you hear Crisostomo Ibarra being mentioned, you know, the main protagonist of Rizal, and a lot of things about Philippine society? Just an initial translation. Thank you.
Yeah, so that was just a sample of our most viewed video. The entire video runs for, I think, around 45 minutes, all in all. And that was the semifinals of the tournament for that year, 2012. So that was 13 years ago. In my case, like 13 kilos ago. And yeah, any questions first before we proceed to the rest of my video presentation? If I can clarify anything for anyone, and And I'd also like to point out that as much as the most compelling parts might be the vulgar parts, the cursing and all of that, the world of battle rap actually has room for every kind of style. So it's not always about fucking someone's mom, or sometimes it's you'd be surprised. There are a lot of different styles. There are more comedic styles. There are more serious styles. There are more conceptual styles that really make use of the many different techniques in battle rap, such as the use of figurative language. So earlier, I think you guys might have heard a little alliteration, which works well with flowing or the skill set of rappability. Really, every kind of style you can imagine has been seen on FlipTop. So there are even a few characters that pretend to be gay. There have been random concept battles wherein they pretend to be. They've portrayed our national heroes, Jose Rizal and Andres Bonifacio. I think there's a snippet of that later. And the participants are really from every kind of background imaginable. So there are drug addicts, drug pushers, poets, spoken word artists, musicians that started in rock or metal. There are females as well. Really every kind of style imaginable. I think the video presentation later on will be able to exemplify that a bit better than anything I could verbalize. But if anyone has a question that maybe we can go for like 5 questions in order for me to clarify things before we continue with the rest of the presentation. Yeah, sir. Yes.
Thank you for that. I must admit, this is the first time I've seen this kind of joust contest, and it's fascinating. But I felt that they were close to beating each other up. Are there rules about violence in this context?
Yeah, actually, that's the favorite question of a lot of outsiders when they first get exposed to battle rap. If they always ask if it ever evolves into fighting, the answer is no. And yes, there are rules against this. And I'd say throughout the history of hip hop, whether it's battle rap or even other forms of competition within the elements of battle rap, a lot of this is really an alternative to inner city violence in New York City when it first started. So as opposed to having to actually fight, or in certain cases to have to shoot each other, a lot of different groups would really compete against each other through battle rapping or break dancing. So there's also competition in that, turntablism, and the many other elements of hip hop. It's really a very competitive art form and culture by nature. So yeah, but all of that is really meant to be to serve as an alternative to actual violence. As with any big group of people, of course, not everyone's gonna get along. There's a different round here actually from this battle wherein I really have to separate them because they start hitting each other with a hat and like shoving each other's faces, and I had to separate them. But yeah, for the most part, it's not allowed. And for the most part, it's part of my job to prepare for which artists would most likely get into a fight later on in the night. So it requires a lot of reconnaissance on my part, knowing who's who doesn't like who, and how to prepare for it. So yeah, every now and then there would be a lot more heated battles. But luckily, in the 16 years that FlipTop has been going, any actual violence at the event has usually been between crowd members and not the participants. So that's believe it or not, I'd say that's a really good number. Yes, sir.
I was in the German battle scene a little bit, and here in Germany we had sometimes like themes, like compliments battle.
Yes, yes.
Do you have something like that too in the Philippines?
Yes, we do, but not in the sense that we try not to put limitations on the battle in the sense of putting it into a box. So it's really up to the participants if they want to agree on a certain topic. But for the most part, we try to stray away from that. of course, a lot of sponsors, a lot of noontime shows have always approached us and they say, hey, can you do this battle rap thing? But you're only allowed to say this and you're only allowed to say that. And I feel like it infringes upon the freedom of expression aspect of battle rap, wherein you're really supposed to be free to say anything. Not free from consequences, of course, but yeah, in other words, I kind of find it corny sometimes when I've been approached for such things like, hey, can you I'm trying to think of an example. There's many really, but some as corny as can you pretend to be Pepsi and then diss Coca-Cola, and you know, I find that really corny. I think it strays away from battle rap, and the whole point of why we started this was really to get recognized, and for it to be recognized as it is, if you know what I mean. So I guess kind of like with MMA, wherein the violence is really real. You don't really approach the MMA fighters and be like, hey, can you do a wushu exhibition and just like flow without hitting each other? Can you do that for my halftime show? I feel like that really, that kind of degrades the art form, and I wouldn't really care to be anybody else's intermission. So our events are self-produced, and we don't accept bookings for such things, such as festivals in the Philippines. Like, first of all, it's never the proper crowd. Second of all, production design is horrible in the provinces. In festivals like that, you would really need battle rap is really for a more controlled environment, wherein you get to really handle the audio, as it's a very audio sensitive art form. You get to handle the audience and make sure they don't get too rowdy. So yeah, there's that. Which battle league was that? Are you familiar with the don't label the label? Don't let the label label you? Oh, okay. Okay, so you were in the freestyle era. Nice, nice, nice. So yeah, there's a German rap battle league. Now, I think they're mostly based in Berlin. I have a snippet of them later on in the video. They're called Don't Let the Label Label You. And they seem to also partake in many different formats of the battle. So sometimes they will bring back the beat, as we have as well. Sometimes in the Philippines, we have surprise battles wherein the opponents don't know each other and it's still freestyle. Or sometimes a surprise battle wherein they don't know each other, but they still have prepared material. And it becomes how well you're able to manipulate language and figurative language, despite not knowing who your opponent is. Sometimes you only have a name and then they go off of the name. So yeah. So like for an example, one secret battle we had, one of the opponents his name was Ice Water, and his opponent, he came up with lines that had everything to do with ice water. So he'll come up with lines like, oh, eventually I'll burn you up until you evaporate into steam. So things like that. Yeah. Any other questions? Sir? Do you guys hear me well? Yeah. Because I actually can't hear myself that well up here, but yeah.
One of my favorite battles is between Delo and Righteous One.
Okay. Yeah.
So Righteous One is a rapper and he has a physical disability.
Yes, yes.
But the whole battle was about dissing disability, but at the same time, it was uplifting disability because of inclusivity.
Yes.
Can you talk more about inclusivity in FlipTop, including more women rappers now?
Yeah, so the battle he's referring to, Delo versus Righteous One, if I'm not mistaken, was in 2014. So Righteous One is a rapper in a wheelchair. And I think I'm not sure what exactly his disability is. I think it might be a form of polio. I'm not sure. But it also kind of hinders his speech a little bit, but not enough to prevent him from actually rapping. And he actually produces good music. So anyway, in battle rap, the whole inclusivity thing is very double-edged, you know. And I think this extends way past hip-hop in the sense in Filipino culture when you're all just messing around as kids and you're teasing each other for whatever. I think it's very prevalent in Philippine culture. Like if you do have a disability, in order to make you feel more included, they're gonna double down on your disability instead of pretending like it doesn't exist. So yeah, if you have a disability, same goes for battle rap. It would be more of a dishonor to not acknowledge his disability and to try to like baby him as an opponent, if you will. And same actually goes for the few female MCs or FemCs in the league. Of course, it makes room for a lot of sexism and a lot of Filipino sexism, which is, I guess, like exponentially worse. But yeah, in the sense of inclusivity, it must be done. So yeah, one definitely points out things more than they otherwise would in every other setting when it comes to battle rap. Thank you, Sir Russell. Any few other questions? Yes, ma'am.
Hello po, good morning or
Yes
good
po.
afternoon
Good
already.
afternoon.
Big fan by the way.
Thank you po.
Before pandemic po, kasi during pandemic I came here. And before the pandemic, in my news feed, it's very, very active, like the FlipTop community.
Yes.
And I just want to ask, how is it right now in the Philippines, the FlipTop community after the pandemic? Is it like bigger and broader now?
Yeah.
And are there so many new artists? Yeah, that's it. Thank you.
Are you asking because you haven't been home yet? Or-
Yes, exactly.
Okay,
And
yeah.
there's not a lot of in my news feed, maybe because of the changes
yeah.
as well.
Okay,
It's not like
yeah.
a lot as before.
Yeah, the algorithm doesn't favor us.
Exactly,
Huh?
exactly. Thank you.
Yeah. The pandemic, of course, was a very difficult time for everyone and us, especially as an events organizing company. But we did manage through it, and luckily enough, we didn't go that bankrupt, and we were able to continue it post pandemic. And to answer your question, it is bigger, better, and there's definitely a lot more artists. We have over 200 active artists on the roster, and that wouldn't include everyone else throughout history of FlipTop. So a lot of artists, kind of like prize fighting as well, or MMA fighters, you can sometimes suffer what I call natural death within the league, wherein if maybe you're just not good enough, maybe not too many people are interested in watching you, so you can't get booked for the next battle because nobody's gonna watch, nobody's gonna pay, and that's not gonna be good for anyone's bottom line. But yes, throughout history, I'm not sure how many exactly. There might be over maybe like over 500 all in all participants in FlipTop, and that includes the one and done artists. So they'll try once and then I can kind of tell that they're not gonna get any better. So unfortunately, I have to I can't book them further. But yes, to answer your question, it has been bigger and better. We've also been trying to consistently improve our production value. And mind you, we have been able to do this, luckily enough, without any major sponsors for 16 years. Because you can probably sense I'm a bit anti-establishment myself. So whenever sponsors try to approach me and they're like, hey, why don't you mention Coke or why don't you mention Pepsi in the battle and I'll pay you extra? And I am of the mind to not agree at all, or I'll really just like, we can't do that. I'm not letting you touch the art form, the platform, and what it is we're doing, even if it means losing out on a lot of money. And due to that, yeah, we have been heavily pirated and heavily culture vultured back home in the Philippines. So everything from noontime shows to movies to basically all around the country, they all try to try their hand at recreating what we do instead of trying to support us as the number one thing in our world, at least. So I'm sure my fellow Filipinos here are all familiar with Filipino pride. You can be 1/8 Filipino, and as long as you're number one in something, everyone comes out of the woodwork, and everyone is so happy and proud for your 1/8 Filipino blood. But for some strange reason, in the world of battle rap, as much as we are widely recognized in our country, unfortunately, we're actually also not very picked up on by mainstream media. So sometimes it really gets to me, and I've grown to be very jaded over the 16 years when it comes to this. Sometimes there'll be a news article or a headline about a female Filipino participant in some niche sport, and she places 8th out of 8, and she gets the headline. But we have been #1 for 15 years, and it's hardly ever picked up. And on top of not being picked up, it's bastardized by a lot of culture vultures. So I think that'll be explained more in a bit of the video. I'll just check my time. And
Okay, just one last question for Ma'am Neni.
Yeah.
yeah,
I feel so uninitiated.
yes, yes.
So I want
As
to
you
know,
would.
how do the teams prepare? I think of balagtasan, the verbal joust. So how do they prepare as a team? And who decides who wins?
Okay, so preparation, when it comes to the 2-on-2 battles, as you guys saw, they basically just get together for almost 4 to 6 weeks. You're kind of informed of your opponent for as early as 6 weeks away from the event, sometimes 4 weeks, sometimes even later. Some people have done prepared for battles as short as like 2 days, 3 days. So the duo, they get together and they put their thoughts together, and it's really just like any other writing exercise. You come up with lines, you trim out the fat, you trim out all the lines that suck. You strategize, and yeah. And as for the judging, it's our judges are usually a panel of an odd-numbered panel, so it's usually a panel of 5, sometimes 7, sometimes 9, depending on how important the battle is. So for tournaments, it's a lot more important. And yeah, it's the judges just decide. It's not a collective vote; it's an individual vote, and majority wins. So the judges don't get together. They don't discuss their thoughts before giving their judgment. I just approach them, ask them, who do you think won? And if I get a 3-2, then that's a majority decision one way. A 5-0 is a complete win the other way. But of course, it's all subjective, as with a lot of forms of art. So the judges are then given a chance to explain themselves at the end of every battle. They explain it on camera. Sometimes much to the chagrin of fans, if they're not happy with the explanation, if they feel like, hey, that guy is just like, he was messing around, not explaining enough, blah, blah, blah. So that definitely does happen. Apparently, did we start late? Did we start it on time? Because I apparently only have 10 minutes left, or because the rest of the video it still runs for like 20 minutes. I don't know if I'm allowed to eat up the time of the next speaker here, but I wish I could get to show you everything else. So if we can play the rest of the video, just so you guys get a bigger grasp of the enormity of what it is I've been toiling for over 16 years. So. Yes, video please.
A former Spanish and US colony, the Philippines was the first Asian country to establish its own hip-hop scene. Now its battle rap league, FlipTop, is the biggest in the world. League FlipTop is the biggest in the world. League FlipTop is the biggest in the world.
Isay, Makati, QC, Las Piñas, Olongapo City, Bataan, Pampanga, Cavite, Cagayan de Oro City, Antipolo, Ilocos Norte, Davao, Mandaluyong, sa labas ng San Juan Gym, San Juan City, Cabanatuan City, Cebu, trilingual shit in this. We got, on the right, FlipTop magingay para sa parating na laban.
The emergence of battle rap in the Philippines owes much to the historical connections and cultural influences of the USA throughout the last century.
Looking like a cyclone hit you. Tank top screaming lotto, I don't beat you. You see how far the white jokes get you? Boys like, how Vanilla Ice gon' dish you? My motto, fuck lotto. I get the 7 digits from your mother for $1 tomorrow. 1, 2, 1, 2, doing the do now. Hold on, busy bee, I don't mean to be bold, but put that ball did it, ball bullshit on hold. We gonna get right down to the nitty gritty. Gonna tell you a little something why you ain't shit. It ain't an empty shot that you don't hug. You even bitch your name from the love bug. And not a fight a nigga's name, miss some no damn shit. Shut up. If you was money, man, you be counterfeit. I gotta give it to you though you can rock, but everybody know you're on the furious jock. And I remember busy from the olden times when my man Toonie G used to sell your rhymes. Remember that rhyme called Diddy Bar Diddy? Man, goddamn, that shit was a pity. Too hot, hot, hit to rock a spot. Spoonie G rockin' whether you like it or not. He paid for the rhyme, asked for it twice. He said, Spoonie G, I'll buy it any price. When Spoonie finally sold it, oh, what a relief. Busy Bee stole it like a fucking thief. You got diseases in your venereal. Your teeth look like you're trying to eat your stereo. Try to fuck with me, even make your white hurt. I know you got the yellow stains under that cheap white shirt. Try to bring it down. Them seeds just don't start shit. I'll buy you a new outfit, but I won't go to Target. It's like that. Don't have to talk about your whack raps, cause I'll be fat. When I kick a rap, you just collapse, and it's like that. I'll be the fattest when the battle's over. Drop the mic, call me back when your dad gets sober.
Wrapped in that trash bag, FDO the glad bag, Ill-Adele niggas, bombs over Baghdad. I need new trees, Hummers and V's, 23s when I breeze, 100 thou on my sleeve, 40 on my neck, keep the 40 in the Lex. You drink a lot? Well, hun, take this 40 to the neck. You married shorty.
Here it comes, all right. Now, I want to start busting the words. This is America, bitch, and here justice is served. That's why I don't
I think our time is up, but we can like share it to the audience also, Anygma, for them to watch it, the video.
Yeah, that was supposed to run for I think 24 more minutes. Sorry, I didn't keep track of the time.
Okay, but let's give a round of applause for Anygma. I think it's time for us to drop our mics.